practical application of our knowledge, or so the IE accreditation panel were led to believe. From projects to practical. Heckling to the end. We feel there is a lot more scope for improvement in practical format. These being actually amending the errors on the photocopies, as I pointed out each year, providing the necessary theory in lectures first before its practical application, formalisation of both student and staff appearances, and finally the biggest headache of all practical write-ups, it took us nearly 2 years to encourage a lecturer to formally commit himself to providing a specification on the form our documentation should take. The majority of professional organisations already provide this facility. The old cliche, aim the report at your prospective audience, led to paperwork ranging from a few sides to epics. As the audience were...
Who wrote the epics, right?
As the audience were the originators of the practicals in the first place. To further aggravate the situation, certain reports were not met with little sympathy or constructive criticism. This attitude prevailed on the arduous task of trying to obtain tutorial questions on which the studious members among us could ascertain the level of their understanding. I think enough said on that one. Anyway, over 3 years there has been an exemplary student-staff relationship at a social level. However, one does get the feeling of sink or swim in relation to work. A corridor which for the majority of the time resembles the Mare Celeste. And if in the likelihood of actually finding your desired audience, he spares you only a small percentage of his attention whilst either entering his office or leaving his office or poring over some of his papers.
Don't forget the spud gun.
Sometimes 2 minutes of full attention is worth far more than 10 minutes of hurried thoughts. The presentation of syllabuses before a course is welcomed as they provide an insight into its structure and contents. However, their gross inaccuracy leads to misrepresentation, which is harmful when choosing options and revising. We suggest that where possible, more care should be taken on their accuracy and notification given on amendments. A small point to note about business studies. It is clear that no provisions are formally made for the course, being odd times and locations. The provisional nature of time and venue notification with its ad lib presentation does not really reflect its importance until the arrival of the open paper. On the topic of open papers, we felt this is a far superior method of assessment, as a better reflection as the task of gathering information when out in industry. Who is told to write down as much as they can remember on subject X in 3 hours? However, it is plain to see that greater care has to be taken with its contents. This year's paper caused a considerable amount of bad feeling due to its non-generality. To summarise, we would like to see a more continuous assessment by placing more emphasis on practical and project work, to reduce the unnecessary stress and dependence of finals, and perhaps a little more attention paid to the degree course and its students, as it is becoming evident the university considers itself as a research establishment, with its educational commitment secondary. You already have your degrees. On a lighter note, we know that these few niggles don't truly reflect the copious amounts of work and effort some of the lecturers have shown, and that's true, towards the course. To these persons we extend our heartwarming thanks and appreciation. It doesn't go unnoticed.
I think we agree with that, don't we? I thought it was great, actually. So it's not open to debate. Right, before we go on to the next bit, I have the quotes book here. I'd like to read you a few of the what we call the archive quotes. This is Dr. Aslin saying here. Basically, I can't make head nor tail of this circuit, but I'm sure it does the job. Dr. Angus, on a good day, says it's about as useful as a fart in a colander. This is quite a priceless one from Julie Martin, and I hope the ladies in the audience won't be offended. Do you know what the difference is between a hard and light
Oh, no.
You can get to sleep with the light on. And I think probably what must go down as the epic of all time, Stephen Clark to Professor Bloodworth.
Oh, yeah.
This was on one of the earlier days. He said, we were using transistor testers. He said, try it in another tester to make sure it's a tranny and not some damn clever four-legged capacitor. That sums up our level of interaction on that one. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move into the first award of the evening, which is for the Departmental Secretary Award. Here to present the prizes are Mr. Mark Middleton and Mr. Stephen Clark.
Thank you very much. Hello, Jane. Well, the nominations for the Departmental Secretary are H.
Michael. Hayes.
Hazel.
And the unapproachable old bag in the office.
And the winner is... General tension on the stage,
No, I got the wrong end. The results of the poll to determine the winner of the Departmental Secretary Awards are as follows. Third with one vote, Hazel Wilson. Second, absolutely nobody. And third, we have the High... No, that's first. Sorry. First we have High Lord and Master, Controller of the Universe, Manipulator of all living things. The Lord and Master of whom all elements obey, Jewel of the firmament, spiritual leader of the righteous, superhero, most unsuccessful underachiever, man of all knowledge, righter of wrongs, guardian of the poor and oppressed, first taxi driver, defender of the poor, I've had that one. Huddled masses yearning to breathe 3, High Lord Admiral, Emperor, Megastar, incorporated with limited liability in Great Britain and the Republic of Ireland, on cold running water in all rooms, master plumber, and basically all-round good guy, Hazel Wilson.
Don't know much about EMC. Don't know much about CAD. Don't know how to use data books. Don't know much about the stats we took. But we do know that we love you. And we know that if you love us too, what a wonderful course this would be. Don't know much about transistors. Don't know much about resistors. Don't know much about thyristors. Don't know much about computers. Don't know much about calculators. Don't know much about thyristors.
What? Sorry?
What do you know? But we know that we love you. And we know that if you love us too, what a wonderful course this would be.
You told me I hadn't won.
Show us the award.
Oh, I don't know what to say.
You're overcome with grief.
I am. I'm just shy. I should
Stop
take
whining.
it.
Over the last 2 years, the Engineering Society was sort of founded and rose and is now steadily falling. But there were some valiant soldiers among us, and one of them in particular whose endeavours on the photocopier have been very much appreciated. And I think possibly for the last time, several of you have got one of these already. We'd like to present a Red Life Honorary Membership Engineer. Rachel Holder.
He's on the satellite from America.
Rachel has her card, complete with. So I'll leave Hales to make sure that she signs it for us on the back there.
You can fit that in, eh?
And I think actually we ought to say a very big thank you to Hazel and Rachel and Nancy, and now Kay, who's come to join us. And so on behalf of all the 30s, we'd like you to come up and receive some flowers from us, please. We'd like to come up. We got two. Was Kay not here?
No.
Neither Rachel.
You don't invite many.
I'll give
Yes, I've asked them. I've asked them to come.
Oh well.
We'll make sure.
Enough of this. Enough of this melandering. And now, ladies and gentlemen, after that. Also, we've enjoyed several good lab days, I think, and when we got down the pub, yeah, all right. And I think for that we have to thank, among everybody else, Mr. Bill McCabe and Dave Fawcett. Yeah, I know. No, we got that to give you, sir.
Well, it won't be open tonight, not with this
Right. What are you on to next? Ah, yeah. Sure. Yes, no. I think this is the endeavours of Mr. Vardy and Mr. Middleton and several other people, and Tony. We've written a little thing called Tale of Two Cities. This is Act 1.
Miles.
And I've got my script.
Am I on the chair to mess around?
You've got to have your I wanted a pen. I feel it.
Just make sure it sticks. I've got to sit under the table. I've got to wank.
Do you come in this, or are you in your
Is that okay?
Tony?
one is a starring chair. I've got to stick it up. We seem to be papers. We've got to move round. Can we move out from the table? Can we move out from the table? So we're in a big circle so we can talk into the microphone. Move back. The matches don't work.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to the show. But I am your host, and your teacher as well. I tell you a story, which will shock you and you all. So be warned that you had better listen well. For there was a time when there was nothing at all, when the microscope on existence fell into eternal hell. And from this age sprang the essence of spice from which this tale has so finely been brought to life. It begins to belly with painful woe when the great man of old became a legend. To that end, I give you an account so that they that remember might tell those of you who pass. On the feelings of all those who once knew. Start my neurons stand for thought and thought prompts the next line. I leave you no choice but to listen and find. And for ever you will in fact feeling of death, just allowed to agree with the eternal breath. Which stems from the bitter line, which conceals all our forefathers in its reflecting eyes.
Strictly legal.
Therefore, let me last my saying. No, it's not. They're not in this script yet. Fine, therefore, listen ye well to the fast that you hear. For I consider you lucky if you listen with but one ear. Follow and I will lead. Lead and forever. No longer will you be. Without further fuss, I open this stage. The fifth such an evening but dies without rage. For if it seems hidden in a tangle of words, remember that the waterfall has but one place to go. Oh,
And apologies for absence were received from Ross Kirk. Okay. Next on the agenda is the degree results for the 1983 intake. Here are the provisional results. Bob Eyre, first. Andy Hone, first. Dave Barkley, first. Quite frankly, I don't think that you ought to get firsts. Any comments?
Why don't we use Nigel's fifth formula of transgrade sequencing in gradient space using 4D fast riff transform of the DOG based on clip techniques on the homogeneous reflectance mapping function?
Angel Secretary?
Could you explain that Well, actually, I don't expect you to think about it. Just as I don't think about it when I say it. On? Could you write it down? No, wait! It's all right.
Aslin's nearly in control.
Hey, man. What does that mean in real terms? To the audience.
Well, taking the statistical approximation of the rule of thumb, everyone gets a third.
Woody semiconductors.
Why don't we just fit the results to a normal curve and go down the spread?
Mike was still here.
Pattern. Oh, that's Marvin. Hey, you're not supposed to buzz yet, you damn fool.
I am.
Oh, yes, you are. Marvin, PMC.
We don't need him. I'm senior lecturer now.
Pattern control.
Well, he would know what to do.
How do you propose to get him here?
Hey man, we could have a pilgrimage.
Why don't we meet him down the pub?
I could get him in my helicopter.
I could pick her up in my. I could pick her up in my car.
We'll prefer to have him alive, thank you.
At that moment in time, in the farthest region of the Nexus Nebula, Zaquod Beaglebrook, who entered into the Imperial Galactic Government, ordered the passing of gold to engage the Infinite Improbability Drive. Of course, this would ordinarily have absolutely no effect on the Border Studies meeting at the outer edge of the spiral of the Earth, of the galaxy, on an insignificant blue state of a planet called Earth, which is very soon to be blown up by mindless Vogon, thus destroying 10 million years' work to discover the answer to life, the universe, and everything. However, as the ship's drive reached infinite improbability, it passed through every point of the universe at the same time, causing a perfectly impossible event. In fact, 2 to the power of 150 million to 1 against. Just on small plot, I won't divulge what this is, but it had absolutely nothing to do with a cup of coffee that Andy Marvin was drinking. It did, however, cause everyone in the room to think a pilgrimage was a great idea. Funny enough, the Encyclopedia Galactica defines a Border Studies meeting as a collection of learned people whose purpose is to award degrees to those who have most earned them. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy defines it as a meeting of mainly dilapidated men who mostly hate young upstarts and who, for some unknown reason, have been given the power to ruin very promising careers. It then proceeds to explain that the Border Studies is also the name given to a Megapatonian drink mixer, which causes every particle in your body to instantly turn to antimatter, with the obvious consequences, when added to a pan-galactic gargle-buster. One more reason why the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy sells better than the Encyclopedia Galactica.
Okay, everyone, the pilgrimage is on. Go in search of gifts, and someone tell Ross what's happening.
So this is a scene change, by the way, so amuse yourself a bit with it.
Just wait.
Okay, yeah.
Scene begins, and it's in the lab. Top floor, and that's the seat. Yes,
Hey, excuse me, you're fucking necked. What you doing? Hey, that. Yeah, do you have a bill? Yeah, what you want? What you want?
Well,
I didn't get the
we'll go
out of here.
go downstairs, Phil.
Downstairs, Nigel.
Downstairs, Phil. To do a demo on robots.
Robots.
Yeah, there are OU students.
No OU students left, Nigel.
No OU students. I meant third year undergrads.
Finished, Nigel. Finished.
Rupert's interested in robots.
Good lad, that. Good lad.
That's right. We're going downstairs to show Rupert how not to build epileptic robots.
With a 2 to 30 megahertz receiver, Nigel.
Shut up.
I think we're done for that, Nigel.
No, it's not. You just told me 40p for the photocopier, right? It's just what
Scene 3 is at the store's counter. Dave Fawcett is behind the machine.
Hi Dave, can we have a... sorry,
Can we draw out a research assistant, please?
Would you come?
Mike's.
Why don't you say so? Got a special offer on today. And from a new supplier. Here she is, Elizabeth Geek.
How much?
Well, to Mike, £2.50.
Surely you've,
I have. Stop calling me Shirley. Well, bottom of the range is Malcolm.
Okay, we'll take him. Hold it, wait a minute. Just a minute. I'm sitting in the lecture now. How much?
Tick, 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 tick. 45p, including VAT.
Too much. We'll do without. What about me? Who's that?
Stop whimpering.
Who's that?
Oh, it's only Dave Chesmore. I'll give you a £5.
We'll take him. Yes, we'll take him. We'll take him. Where's your fiver? Take the fiver, take the fiver. Where is it? I'm taking the fiver. Right. Go on, I'll have the 10 metre width and 10 feet of string. Yeah, string.
I'll have the £5 back.
Right, we'll go then. Right. Come on, you. You know, string is a useful thing, but rope is thicker. But the string's quicker. Scene 4. That afternoon in Hazel. No, that morning, in fact. The next day in Hazel's office. That morning, the next day in Hazel's office.
No, where's that man?
You pick up your
When?
Mine.
Bear on!
These three now.
Andy, Woody.
Here's your confessional again, are we, Woody?
Has anyone seen Ron and Paul?
Ron's a bit sort of held up at the moment. Who's that?
It's Tony!
Where that man? We have a short intermission before...
Hang on.
Oh, he's coming on, sorry. What day is it? Oh, shit.
Oh, that was good value.
Now we'll follow a short intermission before Act 2.
This is Mr. Allenson, highlighting my ignorance, as he normally does. This is from the 4th of the 3rd, 85, so it's quite an old one. He said, how would you solve that circuit? And I piped up with, oh, well, you'd use an equivalent circuit, wouldn't you? And he goes, it is equivalent circuit. And this is a bit of an eye-opener. Several encounters have happened in the lift. And I think, for some reason, Steve Clark always seems to end up with a professor in the lift. And Shaggy came in and he was terribly worried one day, and he said, I came up in the lift with the Prof today, and he asked me how things were going. And I thought, shit, because I hadn't done anything. There was definitely a philosopher in our midst, when he can actually, he's not going to his dyslexia classes or whatever. It was Dr. Angus, and he came up with this gem, who knows the mind of a flip-flop when it's turned on? And I think this must be one of our professor's favourite quotes. I've heard it 4, 5 times, 6 times, 7. And he says, I often wonder that if Boltzmann's constant was smaller in Japan, they would compete with us as successfully as they do. And this one, yeah, don't ask what Boltzmann does, for God's sake. And again, we go back to the lift. And we were expressing concern about overloading the lift. There was 16 people on board. I'm not exactly sure what the limit is. But then Tony Ingleshaw pipes up, well, that's one more than the wrong pattern though. But now, we move on to the next award in this evening's entertainment, and that's the Eccentricity Award. Now this was, on the voting form, this was put down as the lecturer who displays consistently the most original eccentric behaviour. But judging by who people voted for, I'm sure it should be the Incompetence Award. So anyway, here to present the awards are two of those one-man celebrities. I present you Mr. James Brown and Mr. Joe Nebo. What do we do?
We have a script.
We have a script.
James, now that we're in the last week of term, we've got a little something to reveal to you. Well, James has. No, not that, James. The other.
Yes.
Yes. You see, you may have noticed that Joe's hair is obviously acrylic.
Yes, but we are in fact both aliens from a place of very high conductivity.
The planet Siemens.
And
I must confess, I thought that would bring a little trickle. Yes, you see, our minds are as one. That's why James never came to any lectures. Anyway, we have something to do tonight, actually. We have an award to present. Yes, heaven knows why we were chosen to present the award for eccentricity, but anyway, here we are. Shall I show the nominations, please?
the sellotapes are pretty tight. That's what they always say, isn't it? We have, isn't this exciting? The nominations for the Eccentricity Award are, in no particular order, Dr. Fawcett. Dr. Angus. And another Dr. Aslin. And I am proud to be able to tell you that the winner with 31 out of the 60 returns is James Angus.
Dr. Angus here has to actually work out how it fits together.
Right, ladies and gentlemen. Next we move on to A Tale of Two Cities, Part 2, the second development.
We've seen the script of that one. Act 2 begins, and surely will end if time is the beginning and comes to an end. The scene is... That's good. Right, okay.
Just like your open background. Just like that.
Heckle.
It was good, that was. Act 2 begins, and they are on their way. They are passing through the forest.
Get up, Andy, come on. You've got a 10-14, Andy. Sorry, no more. Struck it all. He's doomed. You're all doomed. You're all gonna die.
It's Robin Hood!
Really, guys, no need to fear, because Robin Hood the Good is here. With my merry men that you can see.
That's supposed to be a rap, by the way.
Hey, what's wrong with this dude?
Well, how long have he got? First, he's senior lecturer. Then, he loves aerials.
Shut up! The man's got premycardal infarction brought on by shish kebab lotion on the colopsis.
Sorry? I really don't understand.
Looks like he's cold turkey to me, man.
Oh, why didn't you say so? This man needs a song. Maestro. If you're feeling down or you've fallen in the street, there's a little song that'll get you on your feet. They sing it in Jamaica, the Prof sings it in York, and if we get it right, it'll even make a talk. Oh, push a cloud in your ear, stick some solder up your nose, turn the voltage up till your CMOS chip explodes. To a BBC, convert to TTL, kick a PDP, and then make an awful smell.
Who started?
Till your CMOS chip explodes, change a BBC, and convert to TTL, kick a PDP, and then make an awful smell. Another satisfied customer.
in the wood.
We're pilgriming.
Yeah. They're still pilgriming, and they're still trying to get there. And so I'll return just quickly to the quotes book again. And this is on the first curry night, not the one that's just been. And we've got some quite nice, you see, Hazel jokes here. Hazel, I'm looking for a rich 90-year-old Texan millionaire, and I'm killing him in one night of passion. And then Shaggy recounting his ballooning days, balloon dance days. I don't know whether you've seen the photos, quite hideous. You thought there were 200 people watching. I reckoned it ought to be 400 sets of identical twins. Philosophical from James Brown. I said, God, just think of that, the last lecture, the last lab day, from now on in, and then James pipes up, it's the thin line between a third and fail. And let me think, there was another one to wear. Oh yeah, there's Mr. Middleton's ignorance. As he shows an amazing grasp of the technical, there's a piece of kit upstairs which has a button that says 10 cycle average. And he came out with, what does this button do? 10 cycle average. And then there was a 30-second pause. Then he said, oh, it averages waveform at 10 cycles. Engineer, true engineer, that man. True engineer. And now, for your whatever, we present Joe Nebo and his amazing talking television.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to present to you, as already been said, Joe Nebo, the amazing, all-singing, all-dancing television, straight from Scarborough Beachfront, where he stars next to Peppy the Clown. Now, do you recognise this tune? Dum 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 da 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 da. Yes, that is the original Tomorrow's World theme tune. And Joe here will do any television theme tune you can do. Do a members of the audience. I need a line. Z-car. Joe, can Z-cars? We have a non-planted member here.
White horses.
White horses.
Like it, that's the original Tomorrow's World theme tune.
Before my time, Julian.
I know you line.
Right, this is some more popular television here.
Dixon of Duck Green.
Dixon of Duck Green. Yes, do you remember that? I'm sure Joe does. Hazel, can we have a guest request here from Hazel? That's not you.
Postman.
Use your own mind, Hazel. 9 o'clock news. That's a bit cultural for Joe here. Give it a bash. You can give it a bash.
Yeah. The BBC 9 o'clock news from Julia Somerville and John Humphrey.
All right.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we turn to the next award in tonight's series, and this is called the Professor Darnell Award. And the citation on the voting form said, the person who, outside the lecture theatre, is best able to talk things other than electronics, Order. Is aware that Queen Elizabeth II is on the throne. Has been known to go out in the pub. Wears flares of less than 26 inches. And knows what the word wit means. So that rules most people. Sorry. And here to present the award is the namesake, Professor Darnell.
I'm incredibly honoured to
Autograph.
the fact that it's thick, dark, with a hole in the middle.
You got the eggs, Mike?
Okay, let's look at the nominations. The nominations are Dr. Aslin, Mr. Allenson, Dr. Wood, Dr. Marvin, and Dr. Angus. Let me give you a pen portrait. Of a shy, retiring lecturer. Doesn't like to be in the limelight. Never known to heckle out of turn. Have you got that picture in your mind?
Yeah.
Well, he's nothing like that. Nigel Allenson.
Sorry, not too long though, so we're all going to go. Well, this has come as a absolute surprise. I just can't think what use I can put this to.
A very well-deserved award, that, I think.
Yes.
But out of all the lecturers, there's been one man who's been quite outstanding in his support of certainly the social things that we've tried to do. And well, he's been quite brilliant, really. I mean, he's always come down to conferences. He's always supported us. You know, if we want to have a curry night or a few beers on or whatever, just wanted to fall over. Yeah. And so myself and Vardy have come up with something a little bit different. Hang on, I'll be back in a sec. I'm just going to go and find it.
This is the award.
All right, who's going to be run off with it?
We have lost it.
That's later in the ceremony, actually, Rupert.
All right. Temporary postponement. All right, don't worry, we'll find it.
Everything will be nice as well.
Sorry. Yeah. You.
No, we had lost it.
So, no, this is a very big thank you to Dr. John Wood. John Wood.
Small and perfectly formed.
We always play the cricket match every year.